everybody. I'm Renee.
And I'm Gravity. And we are the authors of the books What Do I Teach Readers Tomorrow? And also my new book out called Teach Like Yourself. And we're here today to talk to you a little bit about self-care. Last week we explained that we're going to be offering these short videos that discuss answers to some of your most common and sort of time-sensitive questions around the teaching of literacy. And we know that when we're happy, that we're more successful. And so one of the ways to be happy is to take care of ourselves. Yet as teachers, we know how hard it can be to actually prioritize that. So we're going to have several different videos where we give small tidbits on how we can take care of ourselves and how that's going to have a positive impact on our teaching and on our students' learning. So Renee, I'd love for you to tell us about decision fatigue, because this was something we found in the research that had a huge impact on how we decided to think about the kind of decision makers we are in the classroom.
Yeah, the good news is that everything we actually feel as teachers is scientifically researched. So a lot of times we feel like a little bit almost like beating ourselves up, like, gosh, why am I so tired? But we found research out of Harvard that really actually talks about the brain is a muscle, and like every muscle in your body, it fatigues. And if you can imagine I think we found out that teachers make something like 2,000 decisions a day, anything from where to sit, sharpen your pencil, who goes to the bathroom when, and also the curriculum that I'm going to teach. So you can imagine that our brain actually does fatigue from day to day. So we've been thinking a little bit about how as teachers we can preserve that mental energy, so we have the energy needed to keep students at the center of our curriculum decisions.
So we know when we're in decision fatigue, we don't usually make the best decisions, right?
Right.
So before we talk about what we could be doing, let's reflect on what we might be doing now. And we put these fun self-reflection questionnaires right in the book. And on page 10 of the fiction book, there is a questionnaire about what type of decision maker are you. And it's also in the link right at the bottom of this video. You can go ahead and you can click on that and you can take the questionnaire with yourself or with your learning partners also. When you're making your instructional decisions, do you tend to look at your curriculum to see what was suggested, turn to your teacher manual or guide, look back at your notes about what your students had been doing prior, or look at student work and think about what you can do to build upon where your students were the day before?
It depends.
Curriculum, teacher's guide,
Or student work. Yeah. My gut reaction is it almost depends at like what time of the year and what time of like what discipline I'm teaching.
Yeah.
But I would like to say that it's usually either looking at the resources that I have, like what I have planned, and also what the students are actually doing.
Okay.
So looking at the student work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what's the part of your intentional decision-making process that works for you? Like when you make instructional decisions, what's the part where you're like, yeah, this really works?
For me, I think looking at student work first on my own and then having a partner look at it with me. You know, like, so kind of highlight, like looking, like sifting through, finding, and like using Catherine Boehmer's term, like finding the gem, and then taking that gem to a colleague and saying, can you think with me on this?
Interesting. All right, so now this is not like here's the answer, right? But here are those three styles that we found, and let's see if we, based on your answers, can figure it out together.
Okay.
So one of them we call being a forager, and we call it being a forager because this is the kind of teacher you would be if you were a forager. So if we think about what a forager in the world does, is they're constantly collecting everything off the landscape to feed themselves, right? So if as a teacher, it would be making sure you have every handout from any workshop, not just you've gone to, but maybe any of your colleagues, following everybody on Twitter, having a file cabinet full of stuff that you could go to. Like you have a lot of resources that you're constantly accumulating. All right, so that's one option. All right. Another one we talk about is the online shopper. As an online shopper for clothes, at least, I can relate to that, right? So what we mean by being an online shopper doesn't necessarily literally mean you're going online and shopping for teaching lessons. It could be, but it's more of the way I think about it is often like I might get like an email from one of my favorite stores that's like sale on shoes, and I'm like, woohoo, I'm gonna buy these really cute shoes. And then another store sends me an email and they're having a sale on dresses, and I buy those. I got a good deal on the shoes and I loved them, a good deal on the dress and I loved it. But then when I actually put the outfit together, it doesn't fit, right? So it's really, when we think about online shopping, it's sort of like picking individual pieces, but you don't necessarily have a cohesive feel for what you're teaching, or in this case also like for maybe your outfit. And then the third one that we talk about is the autopilot. And autopilot is when you are in such decision fatigue, you're like, I can't even think anymore about another decision to make, so you're just doing the same thing you've done over and over again. So do you think we can get rid of any of those options based on what you said?
Yeah. I would say the online shopper I could perhaps get rid of, and maybe the autopilot. I definitely, though, am the person who feels like I didn't get to go to the workshop, so I want the handout, and I have a really nice organized filing cabinet. But yeah, I have
And the label maker.
Yes, I have a label maker. So I feel like I'll read it another day if I don't read it now. Yeah, so I do collect.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that, right? So there's nothing wrong with being a forager, an online shopper, or on autopilot. Like, there's survival mechanisms to deal with decision fatigue. The issue becomes when it doesn't meet our students' needs, or when it's so depleting for us that we can't take care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
And our next video will offer an alternative fourth option that might actually work for you to take care of yourself and be a little more on the mark for students.
Awesome. I'm game.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.